Hey everyone, my name is Julian Plays, and this is going to be my first Let's Play ever on this channel, and it is going to be Suduce Me. This is actually by Michaela Laws. I actually saw one little route of actually one of the characters on this game through a girl in a game, and I thought I'd give it a try. So let's see what the rest of these guys got.
Why, hello. My, aren't you a gorgeous sight? Can I be honored enough to know your name?
No! Okay. Name's gonna be Jelena.
A lovely name for a lovely person like you. Wonderful.
This is gonna give me problems. It's gonna give me big problems.
Eric, do your job.
Very well. This game was produced by Seraphim Entertainment under the direction of Michaela Laws and is powered by Ren'Py Visual Novel Engine. We truly hope you'll enjoy this story. I know I'll enjoy it since you'll be in it.
Okay.
Eric.
Yeah.
Fine. Farewell, my sweet.
No! Don't call me that! Somewhere. Starting this off with a bang. Get it? Bang. Sorry.
Come on! Is that all you got?
Wanna try me, asshole?
Okay.
Crap! Missed.
Let's retreat for now.
No kidding. Let's get out of here.
That's right. You better run, you stupid punks! Stay out of our territory!
Call it fate or call it coincidence, that one moment of violence started a chain of events I will never forget.
This formula, created in the 70s, is one of the most important in the field of financial theory.
We went from exploding guns to thinking about financial theory in the 70s.
It is used to calculate the price of European-style options and is widely used by option marketers, though there are some discrepancies that are now corrected with the modern viewpoint.
Rain. It's been a long time since we've gotten rain around here, but it is the season for rainy weather, so it's not exactly that surprising. I'm guessing that's my character. Personally, I loved the sound of it, the way the raindrops fell, like the soft tapping of fingers. It was so soothing, even looking at the rain droplets hit the glass of the window was strangely calming. For the reason I felt lucky for having a seat next to the window, though I did spend more time staring outside than I did paying attention in class. Same. Pay attention in class, kids. Please. Don't do what I did! The lectures in class were pretty boring. Mrs. Phillips' voice wasn't sporific. That's why you should stay in school. I would have known what that word was. But I just wasn't interested in what she was saying. And since it was the period right before lunch, all I could think about was doing other things in my free time. Honestly, I didn't really care much for economics. Sure, I had good grades in this class, but it was only because I read the textbooks and did my assignments as I had to. I was only taking this class because it was mandatory. If it were up to me, I would probably have taken another course. Luckily, it was my senior year, so after this semester it would mean the end of high school courses forever. Thank God for that. Amen to that. Hated high school. I didn't hate high school. It was just kind of mundane how the days drifted on and on as if there were no end to it. The only thing I really enjoyed about going to school was meeting my friends and hanging out with them. That was kind of it. In short, I was done with high school. The start of the second semester brought a note of finality to it. I had already applied to many universities the semester prior, and I was expecting replies sometime in the next few months. It seemed like the start of something new, something that would change. That is, if things could change. I started at the faint outline of raindrops in the distance. For now, I was stuck in this class.
Miss Anderson.
I assume you mean me. Mrs. Phillips raised her voice, interrupted my train of thought. Just when I was thinking about class, I quickly turned my head to face the teacher. Hopefully she didn't pick me just because she noticed that I wasn't spacing out. Yes, ma'am?
Would you care to name the equation I set up on the blackboard?
No. Oh, I think I read about that in the textbook last night. It should be the Black-Scholes model formula.
Very good as always, Miss Anderson.
Thanks. Anderson. It followed me everywhere I went. Most people didn't really know me by my first name, but rather my surname. No doubt since the surname was the trademark of the internationally famous and I'm gonna slaughter this. Philanthropic Anderson Family Toys, and because the founder was my own grandfather. Susie, one of my best friends, turned around and proudly gave me a punch to the shoulder.
Kick-ass, girl.
Yee. From beside me I heard Naomi, another one of my best friends, clearing her throat in obvious disapproval of Susie's choice of words.
She means good job.
Oh, you're such a sweetheart.
Miss Capini?
Oi!
Oi! Oi! Oi!
Care to tell me who the creators of this formula were?
Some guys named Black and Scholes. Fisher Black and Myron Scholes.
I mean, she wasn't wrong.
Very good, Miss Patterson.
Show off. Better study next time, Suzu. Be like us and study once in a while.
No, you can't force me. Suzu rolled her eyes and slouched in her chair as Naomi gave her a small smirk. She always pouted when Naomi showed her up.
That's the end of today's lecture. Now, let's separate into groups and work on your projects. Remember, everything is due on Monday. Go ahead now.
Before I knew it, Suzu and Naomi had scooted their desks to align with mine, and we turned into the Three Musketeers. Whenever the teacher let the students decide on groups, we always grouped together in our own little trio. It was a sheer stroke of luck that we all managed to be in the same class, so we had to at least take the opportunity to stick together as much as we could. Besides, we were almost comfortable around each other, than, say, compared to being around another classmate. It just made sense for us to put our heads together for any kind of project. I took out the poster we were working on and rolled it up into 3 desks. We were pretty much finished with fulfilling most of the guidelines for the project, though we did still have to add a few finishing touches here and there. After working on making the poster a bit prettier, we sat back and inspected our work to see what we still had to do. Naomi, as usual, was the first to look for any issues. She lightly tapped a pencil against her chin, staring intently at the project.
Alright, so let's see. We finished the budgeting section, the building leasing, and the cost for labor. What else do we need?
Suzu straightened up to look at the poster and stroked her chin. After a few seconds, her face brightened up and she spoke up.
How about a company name? Huh? Did we really skip over that? Of course we did. You always go straight into the logical statistics and stuff that you completely skip over the fact. We need a name for our project. At least we caught it this time. What do we name it? Not sure. What do you think?
It always came down to me. Whenever there was something to be named or titled, I was a master in ending decision, even when I didn't want to be.
I like Trinity Corporations. That is way too predictable. How about the Dragon Company?
Ooh, I like that. I got me some dragons.
What do dragons have to do with our project? What? It's a totally unpredictable name. It's hot. But our company
Pun
sells
intended.
bubblegum. Who said we can't produce spicy bubblegum? What do you think? Yeah, what do you think?
Both of them looked at me expectingly, even though I wasn't quite sure myself. I didn't really want to choose sides, but if it were up to me, I would say... We're gonna go with dragons. Because I like me some Dovahkiin.
Booyah! Dragon Company it is! Alright, now that we've decided on a name, now what?
As we ended our name game, a giggling scrambled my thoughts. Huh? Who was that?
Ignore it, it's just Lisette.
I looked over my shoulder to see her laughing with her circle of friends, mostly comprised of popular people that were particularly friends with everyone in the school. And as a result, everyone in the school knew them. In the center of it was Lisette White. She sat up with a posture that indicated she was still working, but that she also was ready to casually chat about her day. She had an endearing balance of charismatic and awkward, which was readily apparent when she first talked to someone. It was easy to make her smile and laugh, and she was quite the comedian as well. Basically, she was perfect. Not that she was like a robot or something, but she was a student that everyone else wanted to be. Lisette was bright, easygoing, and above all, had her future laid out right in front of her. Unlike the average student, she knew what she wanted to do after high school, and as a result, she was confident and ambitious, though sometimes it could rub a lot of people the wrong way. Moreover, I had known her ever since I was young, but it had ultimately resulted in rivalry that continued today. Of course, my friends knew that was between us, and upon seeing me glance at her, they shifted their attention to her.
She doesn't even look like she's working, in my opinion.
Oh, you guys.
She probably is, but she's too much of a stuck-up priss to allow herself to look like she's actually doing work.
I love you, Suzu. You remind me so much of my friend, Sam.
The day she isn't a priss is the day I turn into you.
What's that supposed to mean?
Never mind. It's about time! Let's bail!
Unsurprisingly, Suzu was the first out of the classroom, slinging her backpack over her shoulder with ease as she quickly strolled out of the door.
Her seat isn't even closest to the exit, and she always manages to be the first one out of the door. I don't think I'll ever understand that.
I want to get out of here! Naomi folded her arms and crossed to her chest, giving me a disappointed look.
Oh, not you, too! She's turning you into a delinquent.
Just because I want to get out of the classroom doesn't make me a delinquent, Naomi. Jeez. It was a joke, Naomi.
Well, it's not really funny.
I think it is.
Man, you guys are slow. Are you coming or what?
We heard you the first time. Not everyone has rocket boosters attached to their legs when the bell rings.
Are you kidding me? That class was ridiculously boring. Even Miss Valedictorian here was dozing off a bit.
I do have to admit I was spacing out. And just because I answered one question doesn't mean I'm automatically the valedictorian.
Okay, so it wasn't too interesting. But you should at least pay attention when Phillips is talking about the important parts.
True.
So you finally admit it. We're finally on the same wavelength. Welcome to the club, Patterson.
Please, don't call me by my last name. This isn't the classroom. And never in a million years will we ever see things eye to eye.
Despite this, they both burst out in laughter. Normally, anyone would think the opposites like them wouldn't even associate with each other, but even though they were so different, their friendship somehow made a lot of sense. Maybe they were just perfect complements, or personalities just didn't dictate the possibility of their friendship. After all, we three have been best friends since preschool.
Alright, so where are we heading to first? Cafeteria? I think we can all agree that we're really hungry, especially after hearing about our company's line of deliciously spicy bubblegum.
Who would even buy that? I wonder.
I mean, I don't like spicy stuff, but I'd buy it.
Me? I would pay good money to get a taste of it.
You do like spicy food after all. We enter the cafeteria, a bustling room filled with the aromas of different kinds of food. As we got in line, we ordered our meals and chatted freely.
Cajun fries and the spicy chicken burger for me. That's my definition of a good meal.
I'll take a tuna sandwich and some juice. You're probably going to need water or something to curb all that spicy flavor, Suzu.
I can't be tamed by the likes of that. If it's spicy, then it's gotta be all or nothing.
You're crazy!
Hell yeah, I'm crazy.
I think I'm getting a migraine.
I think I'll go with Cajun fries and spicy burger, what Naomi's having, or just mac and cheese and soda. Actually, I like me some mac and cheese. Mac and cheese is good, especially with a burger. That sounds good. Once we got our food, we settled down at one of the empty tables, putting our backpacks aside to finally dig into the food. Suzu leaned back in her chair, tilting it back so that she could rest her feet on the table by her food.
All right then. Is there anything we want to talk about?
Bored already?
I know. Let's talk about...
Say boys, and I will never speak to you ever again.
Aw, why not?
What's so interesting about talking about guys? It's not like any of us are gonna get boyfriends anytime soon.
We don't know that. What if one of us does get a boyfriend?
Like that's going to happen, Naomi. Look at us. I'm a tiny Italian. You're a ditzy blonde. Hey! No offense. And Anderson here. Well, I guess she could land a boyfriend or girlfriend if she wants.
Or girlfriend?
She can be a lesbian if she wants.
True.
That's okay, Suzu. I'm not sure I want a boyfriend yet.
Why not? It's our senior year. Might as well get a boyfriend.
Maybe she's just not interested in a relationship, Suzu.
Well, I really wasn't about wanting a relationship, but more there was no one interesting enough to be in a relationship with. Don't get me wrong, I'm an open person, but there were not many interesting guys in the school to go out with. Who knows? Time will tell. Naomi looked at me, wanting to continue the conversation. However, before she could speak, the speakers in the cafeteria started up and announcing echoed through the cafeteria.
Miss Anderson, please come to the main office immediately. Please bring your things with you.
I didn't do it! You can't make me go!
Oh my.
Looks like our plans have been cut short. The men in white coats have finally come to get you.
Suzu, don't joke around. What if it's serious?
Fine. If something happens, just call us.
Funny enough, something did happen. Whoa, what? And it was certainly no laughing matter. Cold. It was really cold. The rain became heavier that afternoon, accompanied by rolling thunder now and then. The skies had turned black, though I couldn't see any of it under the black umbrella. Someone died! Not that I was looking up. In fact, looking up was the exact opposite of what I wanted to do. I stared at the grass beneath my feet, unable to look at the people weeping around. Yep, someone died. All I could see was the damp grass underneath my feet. Only the monotone eulogies that floated through my ears reminded me that I was at a funeral. It was only when the speeches ended that I was finally able to raise my head. Harold Anderson. Okay. A small gathering of people, mostly made of relatives that I didn't even know were related to me, were huddled around a simple small grave. For a while, all I heard was the sound of raindrops on umbrellas. If it weren't raining, everything would probably be in heavy silence. I looked beside me, where my father was standing and holding up a large black umbrella for a small family of 3. His face was emotionless, a strange sight next to my weeping mother. I wondered what was going through his mind. After all, etched into the smooth gray capstone before us was his father's name. Oh, so our grandpa died. Shit. My grandfather, the one who raised me like his own daughter, had passed away that day. The ceremony was small. Only close family were allowed to come. Slowly, though, people began to leave, leaving my father, mother, and me behind at the grave. A man dressed in a clean black suit, under the uniform black umbrella of the funeral attendees, walked toward us, introducing himself as grandfather's lawyer. He pulled out a few documents from his suitcase and began to read aloud its contents.
And now, I shall read Harold Anderson's last will and testament.
Only my parents and I were allowed to be presented for my grandfather's will. It was under the strict request of his lawyer, and there was a reason why.
And to my dearest granddaughter, I give my estate. All the furniture and decor that resides within the house shall also be given to my granddaughter.
Turn up! What? I couldn't believe my ears. I had earned the family estate at 18. She's 18? I mean, I knew she was in high school. I thought she was at least 19. It was impossible, and yet it was written by my own grandfather's hand.
He passed the family estate to her? Why am I not surprised?
Bitch, don't use that tone with me! I am your daughter. I give respect, you give me back.
Dear.
Well, did he say anything about what will become of the CEO and chairman position?
Oh, you're
of the
one
Anderson
of
Toys
those
Company?
people.
No, it is presumed that the vice chairman will succeed the position.
He got salty!
Even to the bitter end, he wouldn't give in. Oh, what a stubborn old man.
That's what I say to the father. Shaking his head, my father turned to face my mother with a serious expression on his face.
About the estate. Should we send her there to get used to the building? It'll be a good place for her to live after high school.
What?
Are you sure we should?
Why not? This would be a good experience for her.
Honey, what do you think?
What the fuck? I just got the damn building, so you're gonna send your only daughter and only child, as far as we know, to the estate? No. Me no, well, I mean, if he's being that way, I'd rather have the estate. I really wasn't sure what to say. Why did my grandfather think I was the appropriate heir to the mansion? Was I even ready to live on my own?
Well, that seems to be it. We'll be taking our leave now. I'm sure the little heiress needs some time to adjust.
I want to hurt this man. You do not disrespect your daughter! Not like that!
David!
Yeah, David! Even though she raised her voice, my dad wordlessly began walking back to the car, disinterested.
Don't mind him, honey. I think that your grandfather's passing really affected him.
Bullshit.
Why don't we get back home for now?
You can go on ahead to the car, Mom. I think I need some time alone with Grandpa. Now, no, I mean, people deal with grief in different ways, but being a dick to your only family members that are alive is not the best way to handle it.
Oh, of course. Take all the time you need.
She gave me a quick hug and hurried after my dad. I looked around the funeral grounds, which was completely empty, save for the solemn-looking grave that was laid in front of me. I'm sure that if Grandpa were in charge of arranging all of this, it would have been much different. I was blatantly obvious that my dad was in charge of the whole event. Who else would bury their own family the same day they passed away? What the fuck? Everyone knew my grandfather's love for toys, and yet the grave was a mere stone slab on the ground, void of any children's toys. My dad didn't even bother putting flowers. His disdain for my grandfather was almost pitiful. That tells me a lot about the dad, only for the fact that there must have been something really, really, really big to make them do that. Or the dad was being petty as shit. Or the grandfather. Sorry, Grandpa. I tried to force out some words, but the only thing that came out was a choked sob. You told me to stay strong, but right now, I'm the farthest from it. Like that one time, a long time ago. Grandpa!
Oh, it's so good to see you again, sweetie.
Oh, he's such a sweetheart! He reminds me of a dapper from the 50s! I was swept into a giant bear hug, and we both laughed as he swung me around like an airplane. It was one of my favorite things about seeing my grandfather, the way he greeted me. Unlike my father, my grandfather was loving and playful, even as I grew older. Sorry that Daddy couldn't be here today. He said that he wasn't feeling too good again. It had always been like that. Dad missed every visit to Grandpa's house, citing that he was busy with work or wasn't feeling well.
Is that so? Well, that's okay. Daddy can come around next time. And you're here, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what are we doing today, Grandpa? Mommy says there's a new dessert cafe open in town. Maybe we could go?
Oh, I would love to. But I've been so busy with the company these days. We're actually working on a little something. Would you like to see?
Heck yeah. Yes. Ooh, is that a toy?
It is. I was designing a new line of them, but I feel like something's missing. You don't think you could help me out, could you?
Of course. He placed the toy in my hands with a smile, and I inspected it carefully. It was beautifully crafted, and obviously a work of was put into it. There was one thing, though.
So, what do you think?
I think the heart on its chest should light up when you hug it. It'll be like it's alive, and it can be a little nightlight before you sleep. He stroked his chin, considering my input while nodding his head. After a few moments of silent deliberation, he turned to me with a chuckle.
That's a great idea. I'll get to changing it right away. You're always like my little lucky charm, dear. You always know what to add to make the perfect toy.
Well, I hope I can be like you one day, Grandpa.
You want to make toys as well?
Well, making people happy is the best feeling in the world. I don't know if I want to make toys when I grow up, though.
Don't worry too much about it. You have plenty of time to decide.
He's such a sweet man. How did you make a son?
You happy as well.
How did this sweet man make this much of a dick son? That makes sense. Daddy doesn't think of it the same way, though.
Your father. I'm sure he just wants the best for you.
I'm not sure about that.
Sweetie, look at me.
He bent down to look at me eye level with a serious look on his face.
As much as your father may say something that doesn't make sense now, you must remember that he's always thinking about you. He loves you. There's no doubt about that. And you need to love him just as equally.
I don't hate Daddy. I really do love him. I don't know why he's like this, though.
Your father and I have had some difficulties with each other in the past. But it's nothing that you should be concerned about.
I had heard tidbits of this from my mother and various other people. The only people who had stayed quiet were my father and grandfather. Both of them refrained from saying a word on the subject matter, but it was clear that whatever happened set up a wall between them. It's hard, though, trying to pretend as if nothing were wrong.
However, no matter what, you have to stay strong. You're a big girl already, and, well, there'll come a day when it seems like it's you against the world. But always remember that your family and friends will be here with you. Daddy, Mommy, your friends at school, me. We'll stand together to get through it.
How can you be so sure of that?
Because we'll be right here and here.
Did some E.T. phone home shit. He pointed his finger to my head first and then pointed to my chest.
So stay strong. Promise?
For a moment he looked almost sad, pleading. But as quickly as it had come, the expression disappeared from his face, and he was all smiles once again. Promise. Upon hearing that, Grandpa let out a great burst of laughter and stood up.
All right then, enough of that. How about I whip up some special homemade dessert? I know I can't accompany you at that new cafe, but we sure can talk and eat while I cook and do some paperwork.
Homemade dessert? I'll race you to the kitchen.
Hey, slow down there. I'm not what I used to be.
You willed me the very home I loved to see you in. Why? Why would you think I would be ready to take it, especially after this? A surge of anger bubbled within me, but I quickly swallowed it. There was no use in getting mad, especially when the person in question was no longer there. I'm sorry. It's hard to stay calm when you've left me with so many questions, especially about what happened between you and Dad. What am I doing? Talking to a grave? My vision blurred, and suddenly I realized that I was crying. My face heated up as tears rolled down my cheeks. I'll bring you some flowers later. I miss you, Grandpa. I'll try my best to fulfill my promise I gave to you, even if the world might be turned against me. I left the grave, wiping my tears hastily so my parents wouldn't see.
Well, it's time to head back home. I'll cook up your favorite lasagna when we get home, okay?
Thanks, Mom. However, my dad didn't speak the entire drive home. This is a little bitch. I wanted to talk to him, but after his moment at the funeral, I wasn't sure if that was a good idea.
It's about time we took off those dreary black clothes.
Gathering my courage, I decided that it was time to talk. Dad, could I ask you something?
Go ahead.
Why do you want me to move into the estate so soon?
I thought I made that rather clear. The college near your grandfather's house is well known for its business program. You are planning to major in business, yes?
And if I don't, what are you gonna do about it?
Right after you graduate from high school, you'll just live there and can easily commute to and from school. It's a perfect fit for you.
But it's so sudden. You just decided so quickly right at the funeral.
Don't be so sensitive. If you're like that in the real world, you'll be crushed.
I'm gonna beat him with a controller. Beat. I'm just saying that maybe we could talk a bit more about my future. In reply, my father rubbed his temples and sighed quietly.
After you graduate from college, you'll work at Anderson Family Toys. I have connections since I am part of the board of directors, so you will be guaranteed a spot. That is what we talked about before, yes?
But what if...
Stop mumbling!
Bitch! But what if I don't want to work there?
Don't be silly. It's the family company. Our company. I'm not just going to hand it over to some incompetent vice chairman.
He came closer to me and his face softened.
Look, this is all for the best, okay? You may not know it right now, but you will appreciate it later.
You don't know what I want. You've barely been in my life from the looks of it, so how the hell would you know what I want? For some reason, when I heard him say that, something snapped in me. I wasn't exactly sure what it was, but it made me feel so angry. Do you even care that Grandpa passed away?
Of course I do.
Well, everything seems fine and dandy to you. Things couldn't be better.
Excuse me? I don't like your tone, young lady.
It's like nothing ever happened at all. Like you just ignore the fact that he's no longer here.
Do not raise your voice at me.
What did he ever do to you to deserve this? My father, his face hardened, crossed his arms and erupted in angry laughter.
Ha! You sure place him upon a pedestal, like he's some kind of venerated god or something. It makes me sick.
Is that it? Are you happy seeing Grandfather dead? While everyone was grieving, you were holding yourself back from laughing in everyone's faces? Do you feel just a bit happier seeing him lie in the graveyard? Oh no, he did not just slap me! A flash of rage across his face, and he whipped the back of his hand across. He just gave me the bitch slap. Like, no! Not es bueno! No!
You don't know anything! Running your mouth like somehow you know everything that went on, when you're just a little girl that doesn't know how to keep her mouth shut! You did not know my father! You did not know what he was capable of!
Is everything all right? What happened?
Nothing. I'm not hungry. I think I'll just go upstairs.
Honey, wait!
I quickly turned and ran up the stairs to my room, slamming the door behind me. My breath came in short pants, and for a while I just leaned against the door to my bedroom, eventually sliding down to sit against it. How did things become like this? My cheek still throbbing, and I attentively stood up and looked at the mirror to see how it looked. Hopefully it doesn't bruise. What am I saying? Tears formed in the corner of my eyes, but I blinked them back rapidly. I couldn't cry for a second time today. I had to be stronger than that.
Are you all right? Your father told me nothing happened, but you know your father.
I'm fine. I just lost my appetite.
The lasagna's done, though, and I don't want you skipping any meals. Are you sure?
Yeah, don't worry about me, Mom. I'll come downstairs to eat it later.
You're not telling me the whole story.
I just don't want to eat right now.
Please, dear. Tell me what's going on. I wish you would tell me why you're being like this.
I wanted to tell her, but part of me was screaming to tell her that Dad had done what Dad had done. At the same time, I knew she couldn't fix anything. Besides, I was moving out regardless. I remained silent, letting the event remain in the past.
Well, I'll leave your food on the table if you want to eat it later.
Finally, my mom left me alone. It was strange to think that she was only a few inches away from me, only separated by a single wooden door. I really don't know what to do. I need to do something, anything, to get my mind off of what just happened. Anything would be better than thinking any more about the pain still radiating from my cheek. I was going to move into grandfather's house tomorrow. I should probably pack my stuff so I would be prepared for tomorrow. Yeah, that was a good idea. I should start packing. I opened the closet, rummaging around for a while before I finally found 2 large bags. Pulling them out onto the floor of my room, I then began to empty my drawers and cabinets so that I could bring all my things with me. I didn't have much time to bring. I can't bring time! The time's just gone. I can't bring it anymore. I didn't have much to bring, other than just clothes and some toiletries. It was kind of bizarre that I didn't have many personal belongings. It wasn't like my luggage was completely devoid of them, but I certainly didn't have many things in my room that I would miss if it was just suddenly left the house. I shook my head to rid myself of those thoughts. If it were going to be my new home, it would have to feel like it. One way or another, I was going to make it a home.
You turn the tables on me now, you trap me in your cage somehow. I can never escape from you, but baby, that's alright.
Forgive me for that. Just gonna. I'm cringy! I apologize. Back into the game. I was packing my things. My cell phone began ringing and vibrating in my pocket. I slid my phone out of my pocket and answered it while slowly easing myself onto my bed. Who could possibly be calling?
Hey, Anderson, you there?
Hey, Suzu! Oi!
Is everything alright? We were worried about you, so we decided to call. Hello?
I'm really glad you guys called. My voice managed to come out, though it was only a whisper.
What happened? Are you okay?
Well, I slowly began telling them about the funeral that happened. A small silence followed when I was done recounting what happened, and to my relief, Naomi finally spoke.
I can't begin to imagine how you must be feeling right now. I'm so sorry. Do you want us to come over right now?
No, it's okay. My dad isn't in a good mood. So, could we just keep talking on the phone like this?
Of course! We'd stay on the phone until the crack of dawn, right, Suzu? Yeah. We're always here if you need us. After all, we wouldn't be the awesome triple threat trio without you, right?
Yeah.
Triple threat trio? That sounds like the name of a gang. Yeah, I mean, we're all taking on the world together. We've got to sound somewhat scary, or else no one's going to take us seriously.
Sorry, I'm gonna take sips of Peepsy in the while.
What's with you and naming things? You've got to step up your game, Naomi. Falling behind to the cool kids like Anderson and me. Tisk tisk. Hey! I'm a cool kid! If anything, I'd say you'd have to step up your game.
That sounds like something my mother would say. Sadly. We chatted cheerfully about all sorts of things. Very soon I had forgotten about the events that day and was engaged in the conversation about Naomi's favorite TV show, some program called Herlock. We all agreed that the actor playing the Hitler, I probably gonna get censored for that if I'm not already. Character certainly had a very distinctive look about him, with that long overcoat and scarf wrapped around his neck. I don't know if I know it's Herlock, but is it Sherlock or is it the Fourth Doctor from Doctor Who? We had many disagreements about who we thought was the coolest character. Yeah, he has really high cheekbones, and his eyes are pretty. Though I do have to say I prefer Jatson, and as a bonus, his actor is just so sassy. I looked at the clock hanging on the wall and realized how late it was. Whoa, it's already 1 a.m. Sorry for keeping you guys up so late. I think I'm gonna hit the hay for tonight. See you guys at school tomorrow. I should probably shower and go to bed. I can't believe I stayed up this late just to talk to my friends. But it was really nice. Well, to the bathroom I go. I took a relaxing shower. Nothing beats hot water the feeling of being clean. After drying myself, I promptly dressed in my pajamas and crawled into bed. A nice hot shower after a long day. I'm so glad to finally be in bed. It had been a really long day. I knew that it was wishing for something to change back into class, but I certainly wasn't expecting any of the things that had happened today. I have to go back to school tomorrow. Ugh! I curled up on my side and tightly wrapped the blankets around me. I really wasn't in the mood to be returning to school, but my dad probably would make me just go for the sake of it. It's time to sleep. I reached out to the lamp on my nightstand to turn off the lights. However, my mind was so lost in the passing of my grandfather and the thought of inheriting something so big that it haunted my mind the entire night until the next morning. Stop that Satan noise! I shook my head to clear the sleepiness out of me to no avail. I really didn't get any sleep last night. It's already time to wake up. Wait, school. As soon as I realized I had to go to school, I slid out of bed and looked at the vanity mirror. That's a relief. Luckily, there was barely a bruise on my cheek. You had to squint to actually see it. I doubt anyone would actually notice it unless they leaned in really close. Breathing out a sigh, I got dressed, took my backpack, and caught to the bus to go to school. I wasn't even hours before everyone heard of the news. I was approached in school and given condolences for my loss. However, that wasn't what shocked my friends.
Wait, so you have the whole Anderson house to yourself? Lucky as hell, man!
Damn right I do.
Quit being so sensitive, Naomi.
Quit being so vulgar, Suzu.
I'm gonna go with Naomi on this one.
Oh, man, come on!
See, she knows about proper public taste.
I know how to be a lady. Sheesh.
Guys, I'm going there after school today because my parents want me to get used to living there.
Seriously? It hasn't even been a day since you came back to school.
I know, but my parents want me to try living there as soon as possible.
Still, that's really fast. Are you going to be okay?
Of course. But even in the comfort of my best friends, life seemed to keep testing me. That sounded like a punch? Who do I gotta kill?
Hey! Don't go around shoving people like that.
Okay, shoving.
Whoops. Did I strike a nerve, Capini?
She let out a small laugh as she twirled her hair around her fingers. Lisette, one of the last people I wanted to see today.
It's not me you should be apologizing to.
Oh, Anderson. Hey, how's it going?
I'm alright.
Haven't you already heard, Lizette?
Of what?
Her grandfather's passing.
Well, I'm sorry about that. I don't really watch a lot of news.
It doesn't really sound like you mean it.
I do mean it. Earnestly. Why wouldn't I?
Typical Capini. Isn't her family involved with the mafia or something? I wouldn't be surprised if she brought out a bat from behind her back right this moment.
I had nearly forgotten the crowd that followed Lisette, which mostly comprised of people that no one wanted to see on a typical school day. No one had the slightest idea why exactly they followed Lisette around persistently, but they labeled themselves as social equals with her.
That is out of line! Suzu comes from an honest family.
Says the one whose family profits from political scandals.
Yeah, your dad doesn't make anything unless he's in the court with dirty politicians.
Hey, let's all calm down for a second, alright? I'm sure Anderson needs some time to recuperate. I mean, what just happened? We need to give her some respect.
Just stop. Stop acting like that already. Like you feel sorry for me.
What are you talking about?
I'm sure you're happy seeing me like this. You already have everything you've wanted, and now seeing me like this, life couldn't get any better. Bitterness swept into me, and words started flying out of my mouth without filter. But honestly, I didn't care. I was so consumed by anger that I only saw Lisette in front of me. What exactly am I to you? Just another part of your obstacle course? Is that what I am? I'm sick of it, Lisette. I'm sick of all these dirty charades. I'm sick of you. Gasps rose from the crowd around her, and I was brought back to the school hallway. Even my friends beside me looked at me in surprise. One girl looked like she was going to sneak up, but Lisette held her hand up to stop her. There was an emotion in her face that I couldn't quite make out, but I could see a form of pity in her eyes. No, don't you dare pity me. I looked away from her. I didn't want to see that emotion in her eyes when she was talking to me. She didn't have the right to look at me that way.
I'm sorry. I know your grandfather passing away must have really taken a toll on your emotions.
I'm iffy with Lisette. She stepped towards me and put her hand on my shoulder, giving me a tiny smile just for old time's sake. But for some reason, I didn't feel comforted by that at all. Not that I was just angry at her, but the expression on her face when she leaned in close to me contorted into something complex. Something was different about her. I couldn't quite place my finger on it, but something about her had definitely changed.
Well, I'll be going for now. Track meet responsibilities and all of that stuff. See you later.
Something about Lisette made me feel uncomfortable. I wasn't just angry, but also uneasy. What was it? I'd never seen her like that before. But I decided to pay no further attention to it. She continued running down the hallway with her gaggle of friends behind her. I refocused my attention to Miss Phillips, who was walking down the hall towards me.
Is everything all right, girls?
Nothing we couldn't handle, Mrs. P. Just a bunch of snobs.
Suzu, hush! It was nothing, Mrs. Phillips.
I see. Well, Miss Anderson, please accept my condolences for your loss.
Thank you, Miss Phillips.
Your grandfather was a good man. He really upheld the philanthropy of his company's policies, and the money that went towards charity, too.
I know. He was amazing. I really looked up to him, and I wanted to be as good as he was.
Well, I know that you'll be as...
Hell yeah, she will.
Sorry about that.
She'll be 10 times better than her grandfather.
Would I really be better than my grandfather? Everyone seemed to have high expectations for me. I really wanted to do my best to make my family proud. But to be better than my grandfather? I wasn't sure about that. From outside the school window, I saw a familiar blue car pull up the curb. Undoubtedly, it was my father in the driver's seat. Oh, my ride's here. Well, I guess I'll see you both tomorrow.
Want us to come with you?
Oh no, it's okay. I'll be fine. See ya. Hey, Dad.
Hey, honey.
As I got into the car, I noticed my father looked troubled, clenching at his steering wheel and staring straight ahead, as if something was really bothering him.
About what happened yesterday. I'm sorry for yelling at you. Does your cheek still hurt?
Yes, bitch! No, it's nothing to worry about.
I mean it. I shouldn't have laid a finger on you. You know that you're my most precious daughter. You're all that I have.
Should have thought about that before you smacked my face! Yet he couldn't bring himself to say what he could never say to me for such a long time. I always wanted to hear those words to affirm how he really felt, but I guess even now he couldn't say it to me. I turned my head away to look out the window. There was no point in waiting for something that was never going to come. And like that, he started to drive and the conversation between us had ended. I decided to focus my attention on the passing scenery. We were taking the usual route to my grandfather's house. It was located within the vicinity of the school district, but it was still pretty far from the school and from wherever our house was. We had always lived alone. He insisted on doing things by himself, even at his age living in such a large house. I wondered, did he pass away with no one at his side as well? It sounded so lonely and sad. It was strange that he decided on living all alone in his large estate. If anything, he could have lived with us. Though he and my father probably would have given each other the silent treatment the entire time. Maybe living alone was preferable to that. I actually hadn't visited him for quite a while. Visits to his house were most frequent when I was a child, and I had grown up long since then. The last time I visited, though, I thought he looked just as he usually was, happy and healthy. But things changed. In the back of my mind, I knew that he could have to leave one day. It wasn't like humans could live forever. So why did my heart still feel so heavy? The car ride was mostly spent in silence until he spoke again.
How was school? Maintaining your grades, I hope.
Yeah, I've been trying my best as of so far.
Trying? That's not really doing the best you can, is it?
This dude's standards. With my father, only some words I said were filtered through his ears. It was difficult to keep up a conversation without eventually talking about academics or my future, even if something was loosely based on it. He always found a way to interrogate it whenever we talked.
Anyway, your belongings are in the trunk. There isn't a lot, so I'm sure you can manage bringing them inside the house. After all, you are on the road to being independent now.
Yes, I can manage on my own. The usual silent treatment remained between us. It really wasn't sure what to say around him, especially when most of the time we didn't share the same opinions. One question did linger in my mind, though. If he was going to justify acting so nonchalant at my grandfather's funeral, I had the right to at least know why. Yeah, fuck it, we're gonna know. Say, Dad, about you and Grandpa?
We are not talking about this.
I feel like we should be, because Grandpa did leave us yesterday, so...
I wouldn't care if he had left even long before that. I do not want to hear it, and that is the end of this conversation.
As always, he managed to shut down any other form of conversation related to him. It was just like what happened last night. I opened my mouth slightly, but I closed it again. It was like talking to a brick wall. It wasn't like I could find out anything by somehow arguing my way through it. Alright then. I leaned against the car door and stared out the window. I really couldn't think. What would this place be like? I had been to my grandfather's house before, but it was one thing visiting it. It was another actually living there. How would I manage living on my own without any training to really care for a house? I knew that naturally the bills would be paid by my parents who inherited grandfather's stocks to incorporation, but I had never lived independently before. Thinking about it made me feel like some kind of bird being pushed out of the nest. Though I was technically an adult, I felt unprepared and a bit daunted at the prospect of actually moving into a new place. Most people my age would be ecstatic moving out. After all, it would symbolize some kind of change in their lives, like being on the road to independence. But I felt like it was nothing of the sort. I really hoped it wouldn't let my parents down. I wouldn't want to let my grandfather down. What would he be saying right now? I gazed up at the passing clouds to the sky. If you're out there, Grandfather, how would you be doing? Would there be anything you'd want to tell me at this moment? And of course, no answer. What was I doing? Searching for an answer in heaven that would or would not exist? I ducked my head to stare at the blur of trees and cars from the car window. My head was definitely going to the clouds there at the moment. Either way, I found myself being driven off to my new home. The car rolled up to stop and I drifted out of my thoughts. That's my fucking house! Yes, please!
Here we are. Go on in.
Alright, tell Mom I love her.
All right.
I love you, Dad. You can't even say you love your own daughter. Like, it's just the two of you. No one's around. You really couldn't say that. No, make sure to come by and visit me often. No, going to miss you lots. Nothing other than a blank stare. I paused a bit before reaching for the car door handle, waiting for any form of a goodbye, but he didn't speak again. I sighed and exited the car, hearing my dad pop open the trunk. I saw the 2 large bags I packed last night. There were a large enough to carry only things I needed. I took them out, placed one bag on each shoulder, and closed the trunk. He then drove off, leaving me alone in front of the mansion. I watched the blue car fade into the distance of the road before turning to see my new home. There it is. It's huge! My grandfather gave me this? It's hard to believe. The house was framed by a set of tall gates. I hesitantly pushed them aside to take the entire estate. The house still looked like it was when I visited him. At a glance, it seemed kind of intimidating with its size, though if I came closer, it was clear that there was more to it than that. The brick walls were framed by shrubbery and lovely flowers, giving it a homey, welcoming look. But its contrast, the tall doors into the house, gave me a feeling of grandeur. Who knew what was waiting for me? But I wouldn't back down at this moment. I took out the key to the front door and unlocked them. Well, might as well make myself at home. I'll be staying here for quite a while anyways. That's when I saw them. Lying on the floor, a group of men. They were all unconscious, but there was no explanation as to why they were there in the first place. I dropped my bags as I let the door close on its own behind me. Huh? Who the heck are these guys? Why are they here? What's going on? Some of them had open wounds, the blood was staining the floor, and the sun was interminglingly with the air. I couldn't help but feel bad for them instinctively, but nonetheless I was shocked and a bit angry at the sudden intrusion. My mind suddenly went from caring and concern to confusing and demanding answers. Who are you guys? No response. I'll call the police! Still nothing. None of them seemed to be awake to answer or respond to me. It seems surreal to have random strangers in the house. I just moved into it, but I wanted answers quickly. That was until... Hey, so cute! Get away from me!
Woman, you're going to let me kiss you.
I couldn't believe it myself, but within a mere blink of an eye, one of the men went from laying on the floor to being right in front of my face. It was even more odd that the fact that I felt serene and calm about it. Oh no! Yeah, no! Oh, 12-year-old me's coming out. Slowly a desire burned from my chest, telling me to accept his kiss, even when my mind vehemently refused. Go ahead?
Good.
What was that? As he kissed me, I could feel my body go weak. I didn't know why, but that kiss was draining me of my energy, and yet it was so good and made my heart sing. It was a strange and tingling feeling that danced over every nerve on my body. I could feel streams of intangible energy running up my body into my lips. It felt odd, but at the same time, it felt amazing.
Sam, stop it.
It's like he's eating. The person kissing me, Sam was his name, glanced behind him.
I said stop. Now.
Fine.
Finally, he pulled back and I was left standing there in a daze. Hey! I like the one that looks like Harry Potter! What? Huh? I couldn't tell what was going on. My mind was completely enwrapped by the kiss and my thoughts that melted into the depths of my forgotten memories.
Please forgive my brother. He's a bit reckless.
At least I feel a hell of a lot better than you right now.
Because you used your abilities on her.
Sam, you're such a reckless brute. Taking advantage of a beautiful young woman like her.
Oh! Your kind of guy irks me. Your character type irks me in such a way.
Shut that pretty boy mouth of yours before I rip it off your pretty boy face.
Sheesh, you guys. Can we not fight right now? Not all of us are in the best state.
Oh, he's adorable.
I guess you are right, Matthew.
I agree.
Oh, he was cute. However, as the men got up and started to chat freely, my thoughts began to reassemble, and I remembered my confusion and anger once again, only now to multiply tenfold. What?
Huh? Did you say something beautiful?
Don't you dare do that. And I exploded. What is going on? Why the hell are you all here in my house? Why are you all wounded? Why did you kiss me? Who are you guys? I couldn't help but exploding, but after being taken advantage of and being left in the mush state, my words escaped without filter. I definitely scared the men around me, even the man who kissed me. Wait a second. That guy who kissed me.
Ouch! What's your problem?
What's your problem? You can't just go around forcing people to kiss you like that. Are you some kind of pervert?
Pervert? It was only a kiss!
English. I might mean nothing to you, but it means a lot to me.
What? Was it your first kiss? Ow! Hey! What was that for?
I know first kisses aren't exactly amazing and full of sparkles and something out of a fairy tale, but I had at least expected it to be more than just something forced.
So it was your first kiss. Stop making such a big deal out of it.
Are you asking to get punched again?
Well, what do you want me to do? It's not like I can somehow take it back.
Okay, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but like his neck to his head looks tan, but his arms look as pasty white as me. I kind of want to hit him again. I don't know. What I'm going to do right now, I'm going to save this, and I will see you guys in the next video. And I hope that you like and subscribe and all that fun stuff, okay? Bye!